What is up, guys? Carson here from the Trouble Pack. I haven't really been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 2 to 3 years. I've been keeping up to date, but I haven't been playing. And when I saw, a few months ago, the Ritual Beast cards were getting new support. This is a deck that I've always had. I played it and revisited it when the Link and Winda came out, and of course I had to revisit it again now. It's cheaper, not exactly cheap. I mean, I don't know. It's a little. The engine isn't that expensive. Maybe it is, because I don't know what people consider cheap. However, 2 things to say. First, if you like this mat, I can get you these mats for $25. There's blue and there's red. So let me know. I'll put an email where you can contact me, and we can work something out. I probably could even go a little lower, depending on how the shipping is. Yeah, they're really nice mats, by the way. They got stitching. They got this crystal clear image. Let me see if I can focus as much as possible. There's blue and there's red. I thought the blue looked maybe a little better online, but in person I preferred the red, so I already got rid of the blue one I had. On second note, I have some extra Ritual Beast cards as well. So I'll show those at the end in case you guys are trying to pick up your own. And yeah, let's just hop right into it. So I'm not going to spend too much time. I'm not going to explain the facts. This is a list, not a description. So 3 Tamer Laura. This is an insane card. And then 3 Elder. You need to play 3 of these. And then 1 of each of the other Tamers, other than that other strange, the pink Pendulum. These are all really good. These 2 are really good turn 3. Really good turn 3. You can special summon back any of your Ritual Beasts, even the fusions. And then of course 3 Canahawk and 3 Rampangu. For some reason I just preferred the commons. I'm not going to drop $10 on the Astral Packs, but I prefer the commons to the Ultra. And then I like to play a Petalfin as well as an Apelio. I know a lot of people are cutting this card, and I can see why they do it, but it's not like drawing Petalfin is necessarily dead. In fact, this card can be a decent board breaker, given the right hands. And especially going, like, if you go first and then turn 3, this can really, if you tagged out one of your fusions for this at the end of their opponent's turn, then this can get rid of 2 of their cards before you even, start your combos. You pretty much clear 4 or 5 cards on turn 3 if you have access to Petalfin. Even without Petalfin, the deck can do like maybe 3. It depends if they let you get into access code, but you can pretty much clear an entire board. And so that, for me, plus the fact that I'm just not comfortable with cutting it yet. I don't know the line. Like, there's a lot of lines in this deck, and I don't know the lines well enough to cut it. And then 1 flag and 1 corridor. A lot of people are making the argument for corridor to be cut and Protoss to be in the main. And it's like, yeah, I think I can agree with that. Like, maybe game 2. I don't want to be in these weird spots where, I mean, yeah, it's like an FTK, but if you know what your opponent's playing, it's better. That's not even an argument. The Protoss is better, but for now, corridor's in. I can see why people would switch to, in big tournaments, switch to Protoss. And then that's it. On to the hand traps. We get to play a lot. The engine over here is only 20 cards. We get to play a lot. So 3 Shifter, the real bad man. Yeah, I mean, this card is really ridiculous. Even if this card gets cut, the deck would be really good. I mean, if this card somehow got banned or limited, I would probably just put Droll and Lockbird in, or Effect Veilers. It doesn't really change much. It's just this card's insane, so play it. Makes this deck better. And then I want to just play, since we're shiftering, I want to play every single hand trap that didn't really conflict. And of course, if hand traps fade away, or they're not as good, or maybe Nibiru, it becomes not as good, then it's like just very simple. You just swap it out. It's a straight swap out for anything that makes more sense given the format. For now, what I'm seeing, I could see that this is fringe, that it might not do enough, or that it just doesn't do anything. So that might be on the potential, like, watch out for this. Probably one of the quickest cards to be changed or cut these are all very susceptible to being cut. This is the section of the deck where you can play what the format demands you to play. 3 E-Telly. It's kind of undermined how effective this card is in this deck. Yeah, this card, it makes like pretty much if you open up this plus any ritual or spiritual, like Ritual Beast Tamer or Spiritual Beast, you have like pretty much a full combo. Doesn't really matter, you can get there. 2 Inheritance, simply for the sake that I don't want to draw, ever have 2 in my hand. This is a good searcher, but I never ever want to have, there's this deck, you just don't want to have 2 of these. Why would you want 2 of them? So in hand, 2 of them in deck's fine, but it'll be dead. I could play 1 and it'd probably be okay. And then a lot of people are playing like Pot of Prosperity. For me right now, I'm just opting for this. This deck loses to Nibiru and Droll and Lockbird, and like obviously you see my main deck right now, I am not playing either. I'm not playing Droll, so this is pretty much just in here for helping me with Nibiru. This is in here because there are instances where like I don't want to be ashed. I mean, it's just a good card. This will probably be the first card to be cut, but to something else. I've said that like about 3 cards now, but this is up there as well. I think Designator makes more sense, but even something like Prohibition can help in this deck. And you're like, what are you talking about, Prohibition? But you know, you draw your hand and you look at it and you know for a fact, okay, for instance, technically, mathematically speaking, 3D Shifter does get rid of a lot of the discard hand traps. So you do have outs to Droll and Lockbird in the deck besides Designate. Like Designator isn't dead, so you have technically 4 outs in the deck to Droll. And then by that same logic, you're really only losing 2. Like mathematically, you're at a disadvantage to lose to Nibiru. Just play around Nibiru. The deck can play around Nibiru a lot of times, but there are other cards, for instance, like Prohibition that I've been considering. Or you just simply up this to another Designator, but I don't know. I know I'm playing Nibiru. I'm not 100% positive that card is staying in the format for very long. And then 1 Steeds. You get a very strange argument that cards, and this is going to sound weird, but like Called By, Designator, Prohibition, and something even like a D Fisher kind of fulfill a lot of the same duties in this deck. You know, we're decreasing the amount of hand traps we lose to or that are getting affected, because this deck naturally has an affinity to play around a lot of the cards that target. I mean, for one, if you have no Shield Drago up, they literally can't be targeted. For 2, you can just tag out. For 3, you have D-Shifter. So there's a lot of natural outs to stuff. Nibiru is problematic, so I could see that's a reason why you would have a second Designator over Called By. But even then, you can make an argument that something like Prohibition, it's like, well, you're checking through your hand. If you can play through everything except Nibiru and you have a Prohibition, you could call Nibiru, or you could play around Nibiru potentially and call their best card. So it's weird to say that, you know, because Prohibition can act as an oppressive card. Same thing with Dimensional Fissure. So I want to play around with those cards a little bit longer and figure out what I feel comfortable with. For the extra deck, 2 Cannahawk and 2 Noshia Dragu. I see this is getting cut to 1 in some lists. I just think this card is like, if they stop everything, you know, even turn 3, like back to your second turn, turn 3, or this card is fantastic. So I would never want to be like having the ability to go into this, needing to go into this and not having it in my extra deck. So I think it deserves 2. 1 Alti Apelio. I know a lot of people cut this, but I don't really understand why. Maybe they'd have to throw it out and show me the mathematical reason of why. 1 Gaia Pelio, 1 T-Dragon Colossus, 1 Infernal Flame Banshee, only 1 Cumin Falcos. Yeah, I know, a little bit surprising, but with the Nemesis cards, you put it back, and you don't really, like, you don't need to play more than this. You can recycle everything. You really can, so pretty cool. 1 Raritari, 1 IP, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Axis Code Talker, 1 Apollousia, sorry for the ugly card sleeve. And then, okay, I did forget, this was supposed to be something I mentioned at the beginning. This should be an SP Little Knight. I'm pretty sure SP Little Knight, like I said, I haven't played in a few years, not even at a local event. And I know that people are like expecting SP to get reprinted. If it doesn't get reprinted, I'm just gonna buy it. But if it doesn't get announced, but I'm not going to nationals, and I don't even know when the next regional list of where the locations is gonna be released. So for now, rather than spend $80 to have that half in a few months to 40, I'll be just playing this because it suffices to fulfill a lot of what SP Little Knight does for this deck when we link climb. So 2 monsters with different names. All right, easy enough. You can banish 1 monster from your face-up field or graveyard with 2,000 or less attack. Then target 1 face-up monster on the field. Make its attack become equal to the original attack of the monster banished to activate this effect. Okay, it does have more, but yeah. So what does that let us do? It lets us link climb into our Raritari in the same exact style that SP Little Knight would link climb into Raritari. So we just banish our Infernal Flame Banshee, and the Banshee just summons itself. So it's very simple. We just link climb with this card. That's all it's for. And yeah, if for some reason SP Little Knight got banished or was banned on the ban list, I'd probably use this rather than switch over to the Quick Play Fuse, because it still is good. As for side deck, you know, I don't think it really matters. Like I already talked about this a little bit. Everybody knows about this card. I do think that this is, if Dimensional Barrier is very popular, I think you have to play like a handful of I think you have to max out on these going second, unfortunately. As far as like these, I'm not sure. This is not a side deck. The Cosmic Cyclone's still good. Lightning Storm is gaining popularity. Harvey's Feather Duster, we don't need a second seed. Drone Lockbird might become the card of the format. You never know. I talked about D barriers a little bit. And if it's a struggle to say that this card is excellent. If I was playing a board breaker list, I would probably play 3 Shifter, 2 Drone Lockbirds, 3 Dark Rulers No More, and 2 Evenlies, or something along that lines, because yeah, these conflict. Shifter and Drone Lock can definitely conflict, but they are very good cards. They're like the best hand traps in terms of, you know, single-handedly they can really stop a person's turn. They're like the closest things to Maxi. In fact, you might argue that D Shifter is maybe like slightly better for the decks that can afford to play it, but I don't know, maybe that's a stretch in my imagination. But this card conflicts with it, so I don't feel like maining it yet. And then that list recently that played Protoss played 3 Dark Rulers and 3 Evenly, so I can see an argument. That was, again, that's not really a side deck, it's just a clump of cards I have. And then we go to, like I said, I have some extra stuff. I got 1 moderately played and 1 lightly played first edition Ulti Apelio. Even the moderately played, it's mostly on the back of the card, but I have to be honest. A Cannahawk, it's all first edition. An extra Laura, playset of those, playset of those, playset of those, and then I believe I have 1 Cannahawk, and like towards the back here, I have an Apelio. They're all, oh, that one's not first edition actually, but the Cannahawk is. So that's what I've got in terms of Ritual Beast stuff. If you're interested, we can work out a good price for you guys. And again, if you like these mats, I couldn't have been more pleased with purchasing this. They're crystal clear. They're so cheap. The shipping might take a little bit longer than you desire, but I'm telling you, when I saw the price of these things, I was thinking to myself, I would easily pay like $35, $40 for this. And I couldn't be happier with my purchase. The blue one looked fantastic. I just like the red one a little bit better. So I'm sure you guys have seen the blue ones I'm talking about. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a comment, a like, subscribe maybe. Let me know what you guys think of this. This is probably a card a lot of you guys have never seen ever before. So if you're in the same boat as me, where you're like, oh, I need SP Little Knight for this part of my deck. Of course, it's not comparable to SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight's much better, but this is 1 cent compared to $80 that will soon have itself to become 40. So you're not losing $40. You're saving some money, just being a little patient. It's not necessarily the season to be buying a bunch of YuGiOh cards, right? that at least a card like SP Little Knight, if you're not, unless you are like, hey, I'm gonna win Nats, or that's a different scenario. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see ya.